spirituality can have thieves.
All right. True that.
Hi, this is Cristina Dam, and this is Liberate the Podcast, where we educate, motivate, inspire, and liberate your consciousness.
All right, so welcome to another episode of Liberate the Podcast. Today we're deep diving into astrology and numerology, which is a fascinating subject that a lot of people love and are interested in. I mean, astrology apps are some of the most popular ones that are found on the internet, and so I'm excited. Today we have Esoteric Esa with us, and she is going to guide us deep dive, and we're going to see where this goes because I'm intrigued.
Yeah, thank you for having me here, Cristina. Hello, everybody. So, I'm so happy we're raising awareness around esoteric numerology. I'm all for the huge rise in astrology and the esoteric arts in general. I think it's so important that it's now crossing over into mainstream pop culture, right?
Which is kind of interesting because, if we go back in time, astrology was common and mainstream,
right?
And then it went through this period of, let's call it the dark period or whatnot. And then suddenly people didn't pay as much attention to the numerology or astrology or other esoteric like kind of teachings,
right?
And everything became super scientific and got to prove it. But, there's so much science still in it, too,
Yes.
So it's interesting. There's always cycles and everything. And sometimes those cycles are, decades or centuries that happen or multi-centuries that go on. And sometimes those cycles can be, within a 1 year and going through the cycles of the season or the cycles in your life. So it's interesting that it is a rise. More and more people are talking about it. It's common. It's not seen as hooey-wooey anymore.
Yeah, thankfully.
But there's still some stigma around it. So I know that that's one of your goals is to break free of those stigmas and those negative kind of stereotypes and the way that things look. So you want to talk a little bit about it and share a little bit about how you got here, too.
Oh, my God, I know. Well, thank you guys for having me. I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so excited. And like Cristina mentioned, my mission is to really eliminate the negative misconceptions around spirituality, the esoteric arts. It is a form of spirituality. Like you mentioned, science, in my very humble opinion, runs parallel to spirituality. How can science not be part of spirituality and vice versa, right?
Well, how can anything not be a part of anything, right?
Exactly. It's all connected. But that's another conversation. So my main focus is within the Latinx culture. Okay. I am Latina. I'm half Mexican, half Peruvian, born and raised in America, first generation. And my grandmother is a psychic, tarot reader, palm reader. So I grew up with all this.
Yeah.
I grew up with all this, but then it was...
Your grandma was reading your palm as a little kid?
She did. She read my palm at 9.
You're doomed for love, or you're going to be...
My grandma's very straight up. So she's like, you're going to have 10 kids. Your love life going to be interesting. All this stuff. I'm just like at 9, I'm like, what are you saying? But...
Can I go and play now?
Yeah, seriously, it's too much. But then I had my father who is the patriarch of the family. And my grandma is my mom's mom, okay? So my father, very, very Catholic. So it was a Catholic upbringing. So I had this tug of war of my grandma, right, influencing me in a positive aspect. And then I had my father, who is the very true, and I love my father, very true to the stereotypical Catholic household. And so for a long time, I struggled with my own definition of spirituality. Gotcha. Because, a lot of Latinos, a lot of Latinx, we're raised as Catholics.
Yeah.
Right? And so the metaphysical community is seemed as taboo. It seemed as messing with the devil and all that crazy stuff. So for the longest time, I had this struggle. Do I follow my heart? Because I was so interested in what my grandmother was doing, and I was obsessed with Nostradamus. And then I had my father, on the other hand, saying, no, you're going to do your confirmation. You have to do this and that. You're going to get married in the church. And which, by the way, I didn't even end up getting married in the church. So that was a big deal for my father and I. But so my whole journey has truly been for me to welcome and assist my sisters, my hermanas in the Latinx community with understanding that all this isn't truly taboo. It's part of our ancestral lineage. So many of us have great grandmothers, and we know someone like a tia, an auntie, or someone way back home in Mexico or in Ecuador who was a curandera. And curanderas are, I guess you could think of people who really practice with earth and
shamans.
Shamans, right? It's shamans, the American term for it, you could say. Or what is the definition of where does shamanism derive from? Is that like an Eastern term?
No, more of a South American
term.
You know, like when you think of it traditionally, but shamans are in every culture.
Every culture.
You know, like, so you have, South African shamans.
Yes,
you have Indian shamans. You have South American shamans. In the West, because of the influx of more like plant medicine, like ayahuasca and stuff like that. When people traditionally think of shaman, they think of Peruvian or Brazilian, when they think of the ayahuasca journey.
And Amazonian, all that.
The plant medicine that comes from that. And that particular, but I mean, there's actually plant medicine that's given all over, and so there's DMT is found in, so many different plants. And so, the cicadas that are found in Africa are filled with more DMT concentration than the ayahuasca root, so like, and if you mix any of these two particles, you're going to have these different types of experiences. Same with, mushrooms, or then there's like, Native American shamans from like from North America are more seen as like like they do like the sweat lodges and the different things like that, but there's all of this, there's every culture
has it some way, somehow.
Like, know, whether you're doing, like burning ceremonies in Tibet, and whether you're doing this, but they all have it. And so these roots are really, like you're saying, dive in deep, and they're cross-cultural, but there's differences within it because of the differences of the earth and the plantations and the different areas and how they incorporate, and the traditions are slightly different, but if you look at the core of it, it's awareness and connection and expansion.
Absolutely, well said. Thank you. And thank you so much for sharing that, because I think part of the reason why in our culture, in the Latinx culture, we're so disconnected with our spirituality and the metaphysical world is because many of us come from broken lineages when we've crossed over and we've migrated, and you kind of, what do? You fit in with your environment. You start living the American dream. You go to school. You got to be the first one to graduate from college. So a lot of that has been lost, and so my whole goal was to help us reconnect with all of that, with spirituality, and really these are tools. Amazing tools.
And a point in part to like kind of go back to is, that a lot of people, whether it's raised Catholic or any type of more strict religious the religion in itself isn't bad. The teachings, the different ancient texts, they all share different things. It's like, but then there's so much guilt or shame away from deviating from a certain very stern belief system, but it's like, I think it's important to note that I think on top of all of bringing this stuff to light, you're also allowing people not to shame at different aspects of the self and to see that and there can be things. It doesn't mean you have to turn your back completely on, whatever belief system you were raised, but you can take what works for you and have the freedom of realizing that there's also more.
1000%. I have friends who call themselves spiritual Catholics because they still resonate with forms of Catholicism, but then they pick from other other modalities. Like myself, my husband is Hindu. I'm not a practicing Hindu, but there's much of Hinduism that resonates with me, and so I pull from there. And so absolutely right, it's not about trying to taint anything. It's all about what works for you, and this is your journey.
And I think like it's an interesting thing. The more accepting and open and expansive you become, the more you see the blessings and the teachings and the parts that work in everything.
Absolutely.
Right? And it's kind of like the more you love yourself, the more you have forgiveness towards other people's actions, because you can see and understand where they're coming from and not take it personal. So it's like, okay, you can see these different, aspects. You don't have to convert to any specific religion, but you can say, like there's really good principles and teachings out of the Quran, or there's like the Bhagavad Gita is really amazing, or what I really like, and I'm getting some stuff from the Old Testament, or this or that, or any of it, but you're seeing it because you are evolving more, and at the essence, there's all oneness, right?
All oneness, yes, absolutely, absolutely. That's a huge part of what I'm trying to do with the numerology. You know?
So take me. So you're going, you're going, and you're having the struggle. You're pulled two places, super interested, feeling resonant, feeling like you're going to betray your father and his, kind of staple higher, the patriarchic aspect of the family. And then where did you kind of find yourself reintegrating, and how did you get into that path?
Well, I'd have to say it really had nothing to do with my father. In 2015, I had like my first version of ego death.
Okay.
I've had many.
As we do, there's always
Ego's
another...
a big thing that I've definitely dealt with the entirety of this incarnation. And so I worked in the music entertainment industry for a while, and I had always known that's what I'm gonna do. It's my life's purpose. I'm a writer. I know music's for me, entertainment, blah, blah, blah. And then a time came where that chapter for me kind of came full circle, and I was being pushed out into the next phase of my life, but I was so resistant. I was resistant, and I kept fighting, and I couldn't understand. I thought, well, this is my life's purpose. Why am I being pushed out of this industry? And so one day I was Googling, how do you find your life's purpose? I was that lost. I was so lost.
There's been a lot of people that are watching this, and you've done that too, okay? At some point in your life, you used the oracle named Google.
Yes.
And you said, give me some answers.
I was at the point, Christina, where I was so anxious. I was going through a period of depression, and, I was really struggling. And then I came across numerology. And I had always known about astrology because of my grandmother, but she had never taught me much about numerology. And so I started deep diving, buying books, and that's how I found my life path number and my core numbers. And these were tools to help assist me with understanding how I'm supposed to be rerouting my direction in my life. And so this is why I want to share numerology as a form of tools. They don't have the answers, but they assist us with going within and doing the inner work. Because at the end of the day, with everything, right, it's all about doing the inner work and utilizing all these modalities that we have that are such beautiful tools for us to get there. And that's how my journey began. Yeah, it was tough. But it was fun at the same time. The journey's so much fun.
Yeah.
Going through the whole process of it.
So what is your life path number?
I am a life path 11.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you know yours?
I'm a 44-8.
You're 44-8. Yeah. So she's a master number 44. So you are a manifester. Christina gets done. Am I allowed to cuss?
Yeah, you're allowed to cuss. I'm fine with that. We have other people that cuss on it.
Okay, good.
This isn't like, 13-years are searching in here and saying.
You never know. You never know.
And I'm sure they've swore out.
Totally. So, in your opinion, how have you utilized, numerology for yourself?
It's those times of, needing a little bit of direction and clarity.
Yeah.
It seems to happen at the times when there is a sense of feeling lost or wanting more direction, wanting more understanding, want to be felt and know that everything's going to be okay, right? And if I can read it and it says, and like it's being described into like this information that's like floating around on the web, but it's like speaking to the exact situation that I'm currently going through. I'm like, okay, well, there's a higher order bigger than this that knows more than this.
Absolutely.
And then that kind of just puts you into that space of trust, and it's in that empowerment, and then you can kind of pull back and you can say, well, how is this serving me? Right? Because if this is written in the numbers or in the stars, right?
Right.
Then, okay, well, there's a purpose for this, because otherwise, if it was irrelevant and it served no purpose, it wouldn't exist, right? Just like every interaction with every human being, you're serving a purpose of that connection for them, and they're serving that for you. We're sharing this equally for each other, as well as the people that are watching and listening.
Absolutely.
And so it's this folding, and without them, there wouldn't be this, right? So then that is facilitating. So they're the purpose for us even having this conversation, and vice versa. So it's like, when you find meaning in everything, then you can find, it doesn't mean that there's joy in everything, but then there's an understanding, right? And if there's an understanding that's pulling me up, then I can have compassion for it. I can say that this is a great gift, not a great punishment.
Absolutely. And you brought up empowerment, which I think is such an important word when we describe numerology, because numerology, in my very humble opinion, allows us to feel self-empowered.
Yeah.
But it also allows us the sense of self-awareness and accountability. And accountability is one of the biggest things that I have found in my own personal journey that I really needed to harness to further my growth and to be a decent human being, you know? And numerology allows us to understand the duality of energy, because energy is neutral, right?
Yeah.
It's not good or bad. It's we who manipulate it and make it good or bad.
Yeah.
And so when we look into the numerology, we can see here's the archetype of the energy and here's where we can go with it. You are your own alchemist.
Yeah.
Create your reality with it.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think that's how numerology can really empower us to understand
and
that.
give it, you know, like if I remember correctly, an 11 is like you're the master teacher, right? You know, so like, you know, in that, you know, to teach and to facilitate and to be in that powerful space, sharing and assimilating information and knowledge that you've obtained to others is where you're going to shine, probably find your happiness. Because if, you know, if there is that path, you know, like I'm happiest when I'm creating businesses.
Yes, you
know,
are.
You know, like, so I'm like,
and you're doing it damn well.
Yeah, but I mean, not even just like here. I mean, I do other things.
Yeah,
too,
absolutely.
you know, like,
I'm sure.
But like, I get excited about like starting a new project or doing something new or like diving deep into a different understanding. You know, like, and that's my happy place. Like my happy place is making money.
Making money. That's
You know,
right.
like no, but I mean, like my brain just functions in numbers.
Yeah.
Like that's all I think about. So like, if I'm pulling myself away from that, it doesn't mean that I don't love healing and helping people and doing things like that. But like if I'm honest with myself, and it's not even like I want the money for myself. It's just like I'm so fascinated with the ability to play Monopoly.
Right.
You
but
know,
it's okay
like,
to want the money for yourself.
No, but I mean, I'm just saying,
Yeah,
you know, there's a certain level of like, you know, I'm not one of those hoarders that are like, you know, like I need all this money. But it's like, okay, well, I want more money because then I want to play this game and then I want to do this and I want to build that and I want to train, you know, like, and so it's like, okay, how do I create an amazing real estate portfolio, or how do I like do this, or how, you know, like, and it's all this, you know, like, how do I make blockbuster films, you know, like that, like, it's just, it's more of.
Yes, I get what you're saying. And I think that's where we come down to understanding our life path number. It's a way of us coming a little bit, like adding another piece to the puzzle and understanding what we're good at, because the life path number essentially is supposed to assist us with understanding our life's mission and understanding the challenges and the reoccurring soul patterns we're going to be dealing with. And a lot of times when we find ourselves discovering our numerology, our life path number, like you said, we're at a place of sometimes when we're in tandem and we're needing some clarity. And was your experience when you discovered your life path number, did you feel as if maybe when you were reading the description of your 44-8 life path, that you were kind of focusing on the energy of you being out of alignment as opposed to in alignment?
Yeah.
Right?
Because I was. Because, I mean, I think at that time when I became aware of it, like, I was just... you know, I was just doing healing work, and I was just really, doing, you know, like, I wasn't, like, feeling like, oh, I'm not, like, this person that just wants to create, like, you know, like, and be this, you know, I didn't feel like I was manifesting things in the world, right? Like, I felt like I wasn't there, right? You know, like, I wasn't playing the game that I was supposed to be playing.
It small.
You know, and so like that type of, and so I don't know if that's your experience where people look at it as more of where they're out of alignment.
Absolutely.
So what about when you discovered, because you're coming out of being in the music industry, a songwriter, different things like that, and then like, so you're like, well, wait a second
I was like,
here.
what in the world?
I want to create and be an entertainer. I don't want to be like a teacher.
Exactly. And you know, but then I was able to discover that I really came here to ascend even further in my journey and to be, because a lot of my challenges with my ego and what was stunting my spiritual growth was me operating from lower values, right? And so being anybody, right, but most particularly when you are a master number, it's not about this hierarchy, but it's more so about you coming down to this 3D reality, which is so tough with so many tests and so many lessons to acquire that. It's really coming down and trying to be a better person, live more ethically. And that was something for a long time I was so hard-headed about. It was me, what I want. I don't mind, I sound like a horrible person. It's like, I don't mind having to trample on this person to get to where I need to be. And I think much of that was because of the industry I was in. Let's be real, entertainment, music, TV, very toxic industries.
Oh, yeah.
Very toxic. It's you're all for yourself, buddy. You're on that boat and you get to that island however you need to get to it. And so once I understood my life path number, I understood, wow, I am so out of alignment, but I could see how in alignment I can be. And looking at the aspect of me being in alignment, those things that help me be in alignment do bring me joy. I do love to teach. I do love to talk. I am a forever student and I am a forever teacher of life. So yeah.
Well said.
Yeah, that's exactly.
We all are. We're always forever students. And people don't realize, they always think that there's a place that they're getting to, but then there's just going to be another place. Yeah. As long as there's a journey, we're going.
And have fun with it.
Yeah.
Have fun with it. I think a lot of us get really caught up, at least the women that I speak to, because I work a lot with the women of color community.
Okay.
And I assist them a lot with dipping their toes into their journey to transition into their own self-discovery through numerology and astrology and the metaphysical community. And a lot of times they feel they need to put this pressure on themselves of go, rush. And I'm like, honey, no, just enjoy the journey, because the more we're so divine masculine oriented, the more out of alignment we are, and the more we really push ourselves out of being the yin and the yang of the journey. So that's just something I really wanted to share, because I find with so many people that I talk to, we end up getting really serious about our journey, and then we forget to enjoy the ride, because the whole point is to have fun. Yeah. Have fun with it.
Even if it's crazy going on, you know? Yeah. Like you can just smile and laugh.
Even if it's crazy down.
Yeah, because it's
For real.
That too shall pass, and then the next thing will too. Mm-hmm. So you read this life path number. Mm-hmm. You dive into, you're literally searching on Google to get answers for your life, and you stumble upon this. Mm-hmm. And what was it for you that decided that, oh my God, I'm going to keep on diving further into this? Because you said that you quickly grabbed other books and something like that. Was there something that just clicked for you? Was there, anything in particular in reading that first? Mm-hmm.
Well, I was actually in the spiritual closet for a long time after that. It wasn't until a couple years afterwards where I really decided to be my authentic self and talk about, I love messing with tarot, and I love, using the Palo Santo and this and that. And so what it was that clicked for me was when I finally realized that numerology really made me feel empowered. And it helped me to propel this sense of self-awareness. I felt like, I think we say this as women, as we get older, we feel we're more comfortable in our skin and we're more secure of who we are as adults in general, forget the genders, right? Yeah. And so I felt numerology did that for me. And I thought, well, wow, if this can really help me in such a dark time, imagine how many other people who feel lost. We're always in moments of transition. Yeah. And so that's when I really wanted to take it further. And then I got a mentor, and she took me under her wing, and she taught me, because my grandmother doesn't know anything about numerology. So I seeked out a mentor. She kind of how it goes. When the student's ready, the teacher will appear. And it was like, ah. And so she's taught me everything she knows, which I'm so grateful for. Wow. She's really just helped me spread my wings. And she's one of those people where she doesn't feel she needs to safeguard all her knowledge. It's like, let me share all this knowledge, because it's the ripple effect, right? Yeah. Because then I'm going and I'm doing that. And essentially what I want to do with this workshop is I want to share with those who are in attendance how you can add up all these different numbers, because we're going to go over the life path, the personal year, the universal year, and other stuff if we have enough time. Because everything that I do is, I want you to empower yourself. Yeah. Knowledge is to be shared. That's my motto. Knowledge is to be shared. So I want to share this with you, and you run with it, and you tell your 10 friends, and may those 10 friends tell their 10 friends. Yeah. So that way we can just keep this going. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And so, if I'm backtracking, so you had this this spark, and you dived in, and in the spiritual closet for a little bit. And, what specifically did numerology help you with?
It helped me really understand so many things, so many layers of the shadow work that I had been neglecting. And it really helped me assist myself with the consciousness of I truly am responsible for my actions, and I'm responsible for my growth, and I'm responsible for everything and every circumstance around me. I had been living in a very victimization mentality up until then.
Gotcha.
And so it was really shifting the perception and realizing, wait a minute, that's not the case. And it helped me understand that, it's time to progress and move forward. And that's why I felt in tandem. One of the reasons.
And now you had a basis of astrology too from your grandma.
My grandma.
And so is that Western astrology, Eastern astrology? What form of astrology?
Western astrology, and then my husband's family, they have a lot of Vedic priests in their family. And so I learn here and there, but Vedic astrology, by all means, hands down, I think is amazing. I don't know much about it. I want to dive into it. Are you familiar with Vedic? Oh my God, it's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's very, very detailed.
Very detailed. Well, because there's the 13th element that they have in there that is all about where you are as a soul in your journey, which, kind of takes it, to the next level.
The next level. That's right. When I started learning all this through his family, I was just in awe of how much, again, forever the student. There is so much to learn when you're in this journey.
Of course.
Yeah. It's exciting.
More and
keeps
more.
Keeps you going, right?
Yeah.
Keeps you going. Yeah.
Yeah, it keeps you going, and then realize, and and that's the part that I think that any good teacher will share is that they are just that student, and that they have so much more that they're learning because you realize the more you learn, the more you wow. I mean, that's like when people start to travel and they start to see that there's so much of the world to see.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, they lived in their little bubble and then they go and then they go to a different state and then maybe they go to a different country and then they realize, wow, there's this whole globe and all of these little cities everywhere and all of these beautiful areas. And it's like, I could never go and see the whole earth.
Never. You really couldn't.
So if you can't even go and see the whole earth, you definitely can't experience or integrate all the knowledge.
Absolutely. And I tell that to people all the time. I'm so thankful that I have a community that really trusts me, and we fostered such a strong community. And I have so many women who come to me for guidance and advice. And I love to tell them, I would love to say this, but I'd be a fool to say I have all the answers.
Yeah.
What I can do is really help you understand that you have all the answers within. We really do. And it's all within. We love that outside, that external validation and reassurance, which, yes, numerology and astrology can do that.
Yeah.
But deep down, you have this inner knowing. Your soul has this inner knowing. And so that's the same for us. As much as, we'd love to say we know everything, we truly don't. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that's the beautiful part because it reminds us of how connected we are, the oneness. And it reminds us that, we're all peers as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like there's a song that's I thought I was so much wiser then, but I'm so much stupider now, or whatever.
Yes!
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, I know that line. I know that line.
Yeah.
That reminds me of, so growing up, I pissed my parents off, girl. Growing up to rebel, and I really thought I was a know-it-all. And when I was a teenager up until college, I always told my parents, I'm an atheist. I didn't believe in religion. I was more science-based, right? And I think much of us, it's like, we end up thinking, we go through this journey of, I know this and I know this, and the further you go in, you realize I absolutely don't know anything at all. And so I started off as an atheist, and then I realized, well, just because there's religion, there's so many different aspects of spirituality and whatever that is to you. And then here I am now saying I believe in so many different things, It's like...
And adding new ones all the time,
it's crazy. It's crazy how that works out. So, that's
awesome.
A great line.
Yeah.
I wonder who that was.
You know what? I mean, it's a really famous song.
Let us know.
Let us know. Type it in.
Comment,
if you know it. But it's but that that resonance of it, because it is, as we grow older, we realize we're so much stupider.
Yeah,
not stupider.
No, I totally totally get it.
So, then when did you start teaching for others?
It wasn't until I started teaching for others around July of last year, and then I left my corporate job, my 9-to-5, February of this year, and I took the big leap of faith of being an entrepreneur and jumping into this crazy journey of relying on yourself. And honestly, being an entrepreneur has been one of the biggest spiritual journeys for me. It's taught me so much about my faith. But
you gotta have faith.
You gotta have the faith. You cannot give up, because there's those valleys and there's those peaks, So it wasn't until like full on February of this year where I started leading a lot more workshops and a lot more resources and courses online and all that good stuff. And I love it.
Yeah,
I love it, and it's not easy, but it's worth it. Yeah, in my very humble opinion. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
The things that aren't easy are sometimes the most rewarding.
Oh
right?
My God, yes.
I mean,
yeah.
Right. We feel because the sense of accomplishment. I mean, if you're just like, oh, I'm working out. It's like, okay, yeah, I can do 100 more reps like this. But if you actually add some, weight and you get to the point where you can't even go like this, and then it's like, okay, then you feel like, oh my God, yeah. I feel like I actually worked out. I'm getting stronger.
Absolutely.
You feel, even if you're a little sore, even if you're a little beaten up, you feel like you accomplished, and you feel a sense of pride.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I mean, ultimately, that's what we're here for, right? To grow and to evolve and to experience, right?
Yeah. One of my biggest things in my journey has always been struggling to work for someone else. Like, I've always struggled with having a boss, and not that I was like this horrible employee, but it was always, and I think you can relate because you are an entrepreneur at heart. It's like, we have all these ideas and innovative ideas, and you want that seat at the table, and finally you realize, well, I could do all this for me.
Yeah.
And so that's exactly why I just got that extra push, and I said, I've built empires for other people. Why not build my own empire? Right?
Exactly. Amen.
Yeah.
I love it. Mm-hmm. And so now you've taken that leap of faith since February, and now I know you do one-on-ones with people, and then you also do these groups and classes, and so we're going to be having you
the 19th.
The 19th. I mean, just around the corner.
Yeah.
And as you said before, you're going to teach people their life path number, the soul's path, and
their personal year, the universal year. There's a lot to it, but don't worry, you're not going to be overwhelmed. It's very easy. Numerology is not complex at all. It's not like you're doing, geometry and chemistry and algebra, and we're not going to be dividing. We're not doing that. A lot of people are
intimidated by anything that has to do with math.
For sure.
So you can pull your intimidation off to the side. There's always going to be other people to help. But
absolutely.
But why not come and learn about yourself? And if you're watching this and the 19th of July has already passed, but maybe think about check our calendars.
Yeah.
Check, where can people find you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, folks can find me on Instagram.
Okay.
My handle is esoteric_esa. I do have my own blog, Soluminati.com. I also have, I'm a content creator, so I have my own podcast as well.
Yeah.
It's called Better Work Bitch. It's all about manifesting and doing the work to get there.
I love it.
And I also have my own Patreon account where I do curate a lot of esoteric content on there as well. And I mean, you could just find me online. I'm following Liberate Hollywood. I support them. And I want to say, Cristina, I am so, I love everything you guys are doing. I love how open and welcoming you have been to the Latinx community. A sister of mine in the community, a curandera, Erica Buenaflor, has done her book signings here.
We love her.
Yes, and so it's nice to see how we're all integrating, and instead of us, having to rely on just going to the botanicas, it's nice to know that we can come out here to Hollywood as people of color and enjoy this beautiful shop. You guys, the shop is beyond phenomenal. There's so much history here, and I'm just hyped to be here.
Well, we're hyped to have you, and we're hyped to hopefully continue to have you more and more.
Hopefully,
and whether and that's whether you're teaching some classes about women entrepreneurship to numerology to some astrology and just having you featured on more podcasts, but however you want to be. But I feel like it's going to be a good new union of lots of different things. So you can always look at our calendar, look at all those handles and different things. Everything's going to be down below for your reference, so it's easy. If you forgot spellings or different things, they'll all be there.
Yeah, no worries. And again, you guys, your calendar, I have to say, is phenomenal. You guys have so many different events going on all the time. And Eleonora, who helps with your events, I just want to give her a shout out because she's amazing. She's on top of it.
She's great.
Yeah.
We have a great team here.
Yeah, you guys have a great team. Yeah, so welcoming. Yeah.
Thank you so much. What do you want to leave people with?
Oh, geez, that's heavy.
Yeah, it's heavy, but this is like they're closing out, they're tapping out, they're logging off, and I want them to think about something or.
Absolutely. I think what I would love to leave you with is something that I always sign off with is just always remember to go within, and that means as above, so below.
Love it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Yes. Till next time.
If you enjoyed this conversation, like it, subscribe, and share it with your friends. If you want some more amazing resources on your path of liberation, head over to liberateyourself.com and sign up for our mailing list. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram at Liberate Hollywood, all one word, or Liberate Emporium, all one word. Until next time, liberate yourself.